So the next section we're going to cover is user preferences and how to add documents using the file drag and drop. So the first thing we'll cover is user preferences. So these settings are set by each user by clicking on the home icon and set preferences, and then go to the custom preferences tab. In here, we've got 3 settings to do with file drag and drop. So the first one we have is enable file drag and drop in view mode. So I'm just going to show you an example of this when this feature is turned off. So I have my sales order open here, and I'm only in view mode. I'm not in edit mode at the moment, but you can see my file drag and drop zone area here is not showing on the document. If I want to add my attachments, I would need to click on edit, and then my drop zone will appear at the top. So that means with this setting turned off, if I want a user to be able to add an attachment onto my sales orders, they would need to also have edit permissions to the document as well. I may not necessarily want that. I might want some people to have view access only to the sales orders, but I still want them to be able to add attachment to the sales orders. So rather than amending the permissions and giving them edit access, what I can do is I'm going to go back to my set preferences, enable my file drag and drop in view mode, save my changes. If I go back to my sales order and just refresh so those changes take effect, and now I have my file drag and drop option. So I don't need to be in edit mode. I don't need to have edit access, and I can add my attachments as needed. I'm going to go back into our preferences. So the next one we have is enable file drag and drop. So that's going to be self-explanatory. If I have this option unticked, I won't be able to use it. So the next option we have is hide tutorial notification. So when I go into my sales order, when there are any records that's going to have a drag and drop area on it, when I refresh it, or anytime I open a new screen that has a drag and drop on it, I'm going to get a launch tutorial option. I can turn this off by either clicking this option here, saying do not show message again, or within my set preferences, I can tick the box, click save, and then when I go back into my sales order, if I refresh it, I no longer get my pop-up notification. If a user wants to be able to get that tutorial, they don't have to go back into their preferences and untick that option to get the tutorial back up again. You can left click on the drop zone area and then click on tutorial, and it will launch the tutorial there again for you. So the next thing we're going to look at is how to add a record. So we can see here I have my drop zone. So what I want to do is I want to click and drag my file, and the handy thing with this is you don't have to do a document one by one. You can add multiple attachments. I'm going to click 2 documents and I'm going to click and drag them over. And once you release them, that's what then kickstarts the upload. And you'll see the 2 of them then have uploaded. If I want to see what files have been uploaded, or maybe if one file has been uploaded in error, I go to my communication tab, and there I can see my files, and there's my 2 attachments. If something was removed in error, I can click on remove. I can add another document in if I need to. If I add in a document that already exists, I'll bring it back over, and it already exists, you get this prompt up on screen saying the following file already exists and will be overwritten. So you can choose to continue or click no, and it'll cancel the upload. So any attachments that you add up the top half of the screen, they are added to the overall document. So it's like they're attached to the header of the document. But in some cases, what you may want to do is add an attachment to the individual line. So if a customer has bought, or you've bought a particular thing from a supplier, and they send you a document that relates to that specific item, rather than attaching it to the overall document, you can attach it to the line itself. So for this, though, you need to be in edit mode. So I click on edit, and I can click my file and drag it over. So I can see the line, and I click my file and I bring it over, and you'll see the line goes green when I'm ready to drop the attachment. What you'll also be able to do is, if you've got multiple lines on your order, you can click on the line and then click on the options show files from selected line. It'll show you anything that's attached to that line, and you'll be able to see the list of them there. So I'm just going to save those. One thing just to note is that users who are using the file drag and drop feature, they need to have the right access to the destination folder. So if you can remember back to the setup, I created a folder called drag and drop, and then had the subsidiary ID, and then there's a folder then called sales orders. If I didn't have full permission to that path, I wouldn't be able to add files into that particular location. Or for whatever reason, you may decide for a particular document that you need to attach, it shouldn't follow the usual convention or the usual folder convention, so it needs to be saved somewhere else. So what you can do is on your sales order document, left click on your drag and drop, and then choose the option to change. You can choose the location of where you're going to put your files to, choose your folder, and then you can drag and drop your files in there. And what will happen is that the next time you go to do your next drag and drop, it will revert back to the original location. It won't hold the change location. It'll revert back to its default. So that's just something to bear in mind if either you need to save it somewhere new, or if you don't have the correct permissions, but you just want to have the document attached as soon as possible so it doesn't go missing. So the last thing we're going to look at is to add files directly into the filing cabinet. So for whatever reason, there may be other documents that you need to attach. They don't relate to a specific record, such as a sales order or a purchase order, but they still need to be uploaded so they can be accessed by other NetSuite users. To do that, we go to Documents, drag and drop files, and click the File cabinet. In here, you'll see all of your files and folders that you had. And then what you can do is you can select your file and then click drag and drop. And what that will do then is that then makes that file available then for other users to access within NetSuite, as long as they've permission to that folder. So that is it for the file drag and drop, and I hope you found this video useful. There are some other Suite Answers related articles that will help with using the file drag and drop for installations, configurations, and use. So they are articles number 39444, 39442, and 39446, or you can contact Awesome Support at the email address shown on screen. And thank you for watching.